welcome to 2025. Starting new comic creating interviews. Got a really good lineup this year. Kicking out this year with someone that I actually started following towards the end of 2023, which is very odd that I never even did an interview of him. So my bad on that part. But I read his books on Global Comics. I actually really like the way that he kind of brands his publishing. It's called Wilde Man Publishing, which is really cool. I like that. But we got Anthony here. So Anthony, why don't you tell the people about yourself and how you got started with making comics?
Oh, for sure. Like my man Gary said, I'm Anthony. I'm the owner of Wilde Man Publishing. And actually how I got started with comics, that was, I want to say, more than 30 years ago.
Oh, wow. Nice.
When I was young, I was always into comics. Actually, my first graphic novel that I ever read was Aliens vs. Predator through Dark Horse.
Now, wait a minute. I've heard a lot of people say like they've read like a Spider-Man comic or, you know, Batman, even Superman. I think I've even heard someone say Wonder Woman once, but I have never heard anyone say Alien vs. Predator is the entry into comics. You got to tell me about that.
So growing up, of course, like those were not just coming out, but I believe part 2 was coming out when I was younger. And then I followed Predator from Arnold all the way to part 2 when they got to the city. Mm-hmm. So before then, I did not know that they actually met in battle.
Wow.
So when I saw that graphic novel, I was like, oh my God, this has to be amazing. Which was partly a mistake because now I have a phobia of face huggers.
I mean, that's fair.
Like a full-grown xenomorph, you can kind of see that coming, but right. A face hugger, it just hops out of nowhere.
Yeah, they really dove into that deep in the series. I kind of piecemealed the Predator series a little bit. I've actually just recently watched, it was like a few months ago, the movie Prey, which I thought was really good.
Oh yes, that was amazing. Actually, I get a lot of flack for this, but I actually like the one with Adrian Brody, where they were actually on the planet.
Okay. I can understand that. A lot of people hate that one.
Yeah, the Lawrence Fishburne really didn't do it for me, but the premise of it alone, where like there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, like you're being hunted 24/7, that was just amazing for me.
Nice. So, Aliens vs. Predator got you into comics. What made you want to start making your own?
It actually started, I want to say, close to my end of college.
Okay.
So in order to graduate, we basically had to do one capstone project, which was, and for me, it was a short film. Oh. And it's actually what my first series, 415, is based on. So after we finished that film, I edited it and everything. I couldn't stop writing. So from there, I actually ended up with a 3-season series with that was supposed to be a web series, a live-action web series.
Okay.
And from there, a multitude of things happened, unfortunately, and we weren't able to finish. So from there, I actually kind of just went back to my roots in comics.
Okay. That makes sense. I like that. So you talked about how your web series turned into the comic. What exactly is 415 about? I've read the first 2 books. I really enjoyed it. I'm mad that the first 2 books are only on Global Comics and not the full 6 issues, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, tell everyone about 415.
So 415 actually means Group 4, Subject 15. It's about our main character named Joan. She went through some scientific experimentation at a young age. The series itself covers her life, like from a young age with her parents with issue 1, all the way through to adulthood, where she's not only coping with what happened to her, but also dealing with the side effects.
Yeah, so that first issue was interesting. And you did something with your writing that I actually really love. You gave us an origin story, but it wasn't the prototypical, hey, here's what happened at the very beginning. You gave us a piece of what happened, and you kind of just threw us in the middle of it. It's the only thing I ever really loved about English Clash was when we talked about storytelling and different writing styles. And my favorite writing style is the in medias res, where you start in the middle of a story and then you just pick up from there and then you tell the other part of the story afterwards. And I like how you incorporate that in your writing with this story of 415. So, we've already kind of mentioned, it was originally supposed to be a web series and it became a comic, and you told us a little bit about what it is. But how did you come up with that title?
So the original title of the web series was Schizo.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
And when I switched to comics, of course, you start looking up names like what's available, what can we do, and of course, unfortunately, Schizo was already taken. So with that, and mixing in with the kind of thriller, sci-fi, horror aspect, it's like, why not just make it a number? Because in the book, like, to everybody else who did this to her, she is a number. Where she ends up, she is that number. So, not to say that her identity gets erased, but that number becomes who she is. So when changing it from Schizo to 415, in essence, the name of the series is basically Joan.
That's true, yeah. So one of the things I really liked about, specifically in book 2, we get to see a grown-up Joan, and she's effectively like trying to live life with these powers that she doesn't really realize that she has. The scene where she's like called to the office of her manager, that whole scene was trippy to me, because we get her as like she's trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Like, why am I getting called in? Am I getting fired? And I think the thing that kind of breaks it up, that gives you a little bit of a moment of levity with this high tension moment, is you see this woman coming out and she's disheveled, and you can tell like she's been doing something that she's not supposed to be doing. And the people at the front desk are kind of talking like, yeah, we know what she's been doing. This is what she always does. This is how she got those promotions, this, that, and the third. And it kind of sets the tone for what Joan is getting ready to experience. With that scene specifically, like, what led you to going the route of having her literally just be transported from that point out of that room to having the two characters show up in her place?
So the two characters, actually, without giving away too much, like in issue 1, you've seen those characters before,
right?
So, of course, with them being there, it gives that feeling of like the two people that you trust the most to never leave you.
Okay, I like that.
And being transported out of that room, it is her happy place.
Yeah.
Well, a safe place. Not too happy, but safe nonetheless.
Yeah, because they take her back to her own room, which is very interesting. And we don't necessarily fully see what happens in between that point, but is really heavily suggested as to what happened. But I think the thing I love the most about it is that you get to see these characters grow with Joan. So not only is she an adult, but these beings that were children with her are now also grown. And they really defend her. And I love that aspect of it. So, with this story, I had to throw that part in because that, to me, was like the most insane part of the entire series that made me want to read more. Because for those of you who have not read it, that is the end of issue 2. So it leaves off on a really crazy cliffhanger, just so you know. But yeah, with that, what inspired this story? What was the thing that was like, oh yeah, I want to write about a crazy girl who has living beings that come out and take her place?
It actually, the original series actually started out as kind of a dark superhero series.
Okay.
And with that, the experiment at the time was actually had to do with human trafficking. So what they wanted to do was in order to basically traffic more people, they would separate the consciousness from the body.
Oh, wow.
So they would kind of makeshift multiple caskets into a truck, put the consciousness of the people being trafficked into another person. And with that, that's where it actually all started. Now, the experiment has changed since then, but that's actually where it started. They were supposed to be... Actually, Jason and Damon weren't supposed to be lifelong friends. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to be just two of the people that were being moved. And as the superhero series went on, you would be more and more of these personalities that were trapped inside of her because they actually put their consciousness inside of her.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So what made you transition from that to this? What was your reasoning behind changing that whole premise?
The reason, because I kind of figured it would, with all of the personalities, it would kind of eventually get muddled. Mm-hmm. Because, of course, with human nature, not everybody inside is going to get along. So, of course, you'll have this internal struggle. Right. But where would that internal struggle end?
Yeah, that's true.
You would have a person who says the sky is gray, and then a person who says, no, it's blue.
Yeah.
But then at some point, there would be a divide between 50 to 25 people saying, no, I agree with him, it's gray. No, I agree with her, it's blue. So while that would make for a very interesting scene, it would cause too much conflict on the inside. It's kind of like Benton, Alien X, where they would have to get all sides to agree in order to do anything, something as simple as walk. They would have to all agree to take this step. But one side is, we should lead with the left foot. No, we should lead with the right foot.
That would get very convoluted very fast. As you were talking about that, it reminded me of Legion. You ever heard about Legion from Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I thought about as you were talking. That would be crazy, very trippy, but I think it works out having just the two, because it kind of gives you an angel and demon type of thing on your shoulders, but I don't think either one of them would be technically considered an angel based off of what I've gathered.
Actually, one is closer to an angel than the other.
Oh, that's
and kind of who it is would kind of surprise you.
Well, I'm gonna have to read issue 3. So, 415 has 6 issues. I've read 2. I'm hoping to get the other 4 eventually. Is there any more of the 415 universe that we can expect?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
So right now, everything I'm working on is its own isolated universe. 415 is set kind of present day. The next series, that I'm currently working on, Human, is actually set in the future.
Nice. Is that something you can tell us a little bit about?
Yes. Human is actually about the last 7 humans left on Earth, who are actually being raised by the species that took our place, which happen to be hyper evolved animals.
Oh, that sounds good. It's giving Wall-E vibes, you know. I like it. So, last question. You've already kind of really given this answer, but I want to ask it just to kind of get a bit more detail. But say a producer approached you and was like, "Hey, we love your stories. We want to do an adaptation of 415." What medium would you choose? Would you choose like a movie, a TV series? How would you want to go about it, and why?
I would go TV. Well, I would go TV series.
Okay.
And actually, I could do both. So I would go TV series first.
Okay.
I already have the 3 seasons written with 10 episodes per season.
Okay, nice.
The movie, I would love to do a movie as well. The original script for it was a half an hour.
Okay.
But then that was, I want to say, about 12, 11 years ago I started on it.
Oh, wow.
So it has, even with the series, it has, really evolved since then.
Okay. Nice.
So with, the new ideas, the new mindset, I could see something magical.
Nice. So that sounds good, actually, because for me, a good TV series, minimum 10 episodes. I would say max 15 episodes. And then 4 or 5 seasons. To me, that's pretty beefy. So as we start to wrap this up, can you let the people know where they can find you and get more of 415?
Oh, for sure. So our website is That's WildeMan. WildeMan spelled WildeMan.com. You can also find us on Instagram, WildeMan_Publishing, and as well as Global Comics.
Nice, yeah, cool. Well, all the links to the website, the Instagram, and Global Comics will be in the description below, so you all go check it out. Like I said, the first 2 books are on Global Comics. Then once you're done reading and you get to that cliffhanger, you realize you want more, hop on over to the website, check out the books, and get all 6 issues of 415. Show my man some support and get the closure that is so desperately needed after issue 2. Appreciate you, Anthony, for jumping on here and letting me pick your brain about your pretty great comics, because I really enjoyed them. Hopefully we can get some more 415 pretty soon. And until next time, this has been the DivergentComics YouTube channel. Again, I'm Gary, and I hope y'all have a good one.